That isn't the case here. Buster Mathis Sr. says it was his son who wanted to take up boxing. Here's a closer look at this story.
Something happened, you're going to live your whole life thinking what you could do different. 1,000 times. You're going to fight him 1,000 times in your mind.
Buster Mathis has been fighting fights in his mind for 30 years. But now, after several heart attacks and strokes, he lives vicariously through his son, Buster Mathis Jr. Through his own story, the father hopes the son will listen, learn, and succeed. As an amateur, Mathis Sr. beat Joe Frazier at the Olympic trials to become the United States heavyweight representative at the 1964 Olympics. He was big, fat, engaging, and good.
If I'd won the Olympics, I could have picked, do anything I wanted to do when it came with fights and everybody.
But Buster broke a knuckle in an Olympic warm-up bout, and substitute Joe Frazier went on to win the gold. Later, Mathis's chance for revenge, a title fight against Frazier. Leading through 6 rounds, the enormous Mathis tired and was knocked out in the 11th. The man who could have been never was.
I'll never forget, and I think me and Frazier are the only one that knew. I threw a right hand, and I didn't even try to throw it. I threw it and hit it, and he staggered. If I threw that right hand with all my might and hit him, I think I would have dropped him. That had been in my mind for all the years.
26 years later, Buster Mathis Jr. tries to learn from his father's regrets. For years, he avoided second-guessing by shunning his father's footsteps. By high school, he was a shy, 350-pound computer whiz.
I wanted to fit in. You know, I was bad at football, bad at baseball, basketball. You name it, I was bad at it. Wrestling, all that. I'd have no good grades. My self-esteem was low. You know, and I really want to fit in. So one day I went to my father and said, Dad, can you teach me how to fight? He laughed at me.
So I brought him down to the gym. I tried to make him quit. I did everything trying to make him quit. He ran. He said, Dad, I'm so tired. He said, but I don't care what you do to me, Dad. I'm not quitting.
9 years later, Mathis Sr. still trains his son. The two are especially close because, unlike other heavyweight contenders, Junior still lives at home.
Bus, wake up. You're late already. Get dressed so you can do your running.
In this Spartan house in Grand Rapids, Michigan, Buster Sr. teaches life's lessons learned from Cus D'Amato, who trained Mathis for bouts against Frazier and Muhammad Ali. Buster gave his namesake the middle name D'Amato and preaches his mentor's theories.
Fear is the first thing you got to handle. Fear. Walking from the dressing room to the ring is the hardest thing in the whole world. Not to fight. Laying back in the dressing room, your mind plays 1,000 tricks on you. I don't care if you're scared half to death. As long as you get in that ring and you do the right thing. Do not let your fear get the best of it.
Fear has not been Mathis Jr.'s problem. Lack of a knockout punch has. In 15 pro bouts, he's had only 3 KOs. Buster couldn't put Mike Hunter away and lost a decision. It was later ruled no contest when Hunter failed a drug test. Mathis then had an impressive decision over Terrell Biggs, which has led to this opportunity against Riddick Bowe. Because of his poor health, Mathis Sr. was unable to travel to tonight's fight. But his spirit and guidance will bring a sense of perspective to his son's corner.
When my father went through, not just losing the Olympics and losing for Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali, but, you know, he went through 2 strokes, 2 heart attacks. You know, he's on kidney dialysis, and he's still here, you know, that, and he's overcoming that. So that is a true champion, overcoming those obstacles.
Bus, don't have any regrets when you look back. But you know what? I do not want you to look back. Look forward. Let him look back. Make sure you look forward. If you look back, somebody might be gaining on it.
Father and son have worked side by side toward this fight. Tonight, Buster Mathis Jr. must take the hardest and loneliest journey a fighter can take, to the ring, to grasp the glory which eluded his father. And as we bring you back live to ringside, in a couple of moments, the fighters will come into the ring. First, the tail of the tape. You can see that Riddick Bowe weighed in at 247 pounds. Larry, just 1 pound, or I should say, 1 pound over what he weighed against Holyfield last November 6th.
Despite all of the talk of rededicating himself, he does look a little harder, so maybe some of the jelly is out of the donut, but the donut is bigger.
Punch stat numbers, Larry.
These numbers don't mean a whole lot because of the different classes of fighters these fighters have been fighting. Mathis's people say he really throws 60 or 70 punches around, not the 50 plus that you see there. And there are the jabs, and you see what Riddick Bowe brings to this party. As Gil Clancy was saying before, there's not much profit going to be for Mathis staying outside. Harold Letterman, give us the rules.
Riddick Bowe and Buster Mathis Jr. will box tonight using the rules of the New Jersey State Athletic Commission. Since there is no title involved, the fight is only 10 rounds. There's a 3 knockdown rule and the standing 8 count rule in New Jersey, which favors the puncher. In this fight, certainly Riddick Bowe. Any combination of 3 knockdowns or standing 8 counts in the same round ends the fight. And under the New Jersey rules, if a cut is caused by an accidental headbutt, we go to the scorecards after half the scheduled number of rounds have been completed, which is the end of the 5th round. Before that, it's a technical draw. Jim.
All right, Harold, let's bring 24-year-old Buster Mathis Jr. into the ring. He made the trip down here from Wyoming, Michigan, a suburb of Grand Rapids, with his entourage of 3. Himself, manager Brian Lee, assistant trainer Bruce Healty. And aside from his father's history, Larry, this has to be one of the unlikeliest personalities in the brutal sport of boxing.
Yeah, because he weighed so much, he was so fat as a kid. He hid out indoors in his home playing computer games and listening to music, etc. When he got in trouble with his father, and his father wanted to discipline him, he said, "You're grounded. You got to go outside and play."
Not the experience most of the rest of us are familiar with. There's the record for Buster Mathis, 14 wins, no losses, but you see, only 3 KOs in 14 bouts. Conventional logic tells you he doesn't have the strength to threaten a Riddick Bowe. And you can see that he's ranked in the top 10 by 2 of the 3 major governing bodies, which puts him ahead of Bowe, who is ranked in the top 10 only by the International Boxing Federation. Now, you can understand why Bowe isn't ranked in the top 10 by the WBC. He trashed their belt and, in effect, gave it to Lennox Lewis. Well, the question of why he's not ranked in the top 10 by the WBA is a pretty interesting one, Larry.
Yeah, we'll try to get to that later on. And ranked only 4th by the IBF, while a big stiff, like what's Don King's fighter's name, the guy who's ranked 2nd?
Lionel Butler, Oliver McCall, Tony Tucker,
ranked number 2. Tony Tucker, who is beaten up pretty badly by Lennox Lewis, is now ranked 2nd. And Bowe, after that great fight with Evander Holyfield, either can't get ranked or is ranked 4th.
Here comes Bowe, and you can see that the 9-month layoff is the longest of his career. The layoff, of course, partially produced by the 3 fight cancellations, February 5, June 11, July 15. There's the weight progression for Bowe since he began his professional career after having competed in the Olympics at Seoul in 1988, 218 in April of 89, a year and a half later, 230, another couple of years down the road, 235. Then you go 1 more year to get to 246, and he weighed in here at 247. Will he ever be a 230-pound fighting machine again? That remains to be seen.
Bill, I got a question for you. We've had in the heavyweight division a Manasseh Mauler, a Brown Bomber, and an Iron Mike. Can a kid nicknamed Big Daddy terrify opponents?
Well, that's his personality. He's Big Daddy. I mean, he's really not angry at anybody.
Ought to be a little angry at himself, and I think he showed in some of the earlier features that he is a little angry at himself for not being a little bit more dedicated.
There's the record. He was 34-0 before the razor-thin loss to Holyfield last November. 29 KOs. He showed his punching power in the first Holyfield fight when he put the champion down while taking the title.
I think that the problem Mathis has is that you have an aggressive fighter without a punch. That's like having a race car without a motor. You're walking right into the other guy, and he can outmuscle you.
Well, another thing I didn't like when Bowe came in the ring, Buster Mathis went over and shook hands with him like he was in the ring with a celebrity. Right now, he should be trying to work up a little anger to get himself off quickly. Especially, he should get off quickly with a guy that's been out for 9 months. Sometimes those first few punches with the regulation gloves are a little different than the sparring, and I think that would be the best chance Mathis has to get off real quick.
Pure coincidence that when Bowe came into the ring, the lights went out. Cameo lighting in the ring wasn't our idea. The full arena shot gives you an idea of what we're working with here right now, and I have to anticipate that this fight isn't going to begin until the lights are restored. About half the lighting gone right now, I'm told by our director, Mark Payton. And right now we are changing over to generator power, and we'll see what happens to the hall as we make that switch from regular to generator power.
Speaking of power, Mathis says that he is going to fight like the Energizer Bunny. I hope his batteries are working better than whatever power we have here tonight.
Well, it has to keep going and going and going for at least 10 rounds.
Incidentally, Riddick Bowe is wearing the jersey of an American Hockey League, minor league hockey franchise named the Syracuse Crunch, into which he has bought as a minor partner. His manager, Rock Newman, is wearing the black road jersey, and Riddick is wearing the home white jersey for the Syracuse Crunch, and I can't imagine that Riddick could have done anything more for the franchise than what he's done by wearing that. Somebody drop a puck in the middle of the ring, Harold Letterman suggests. Well, Dave Harmon, I'm speaking directly to our producer now. Ring announcer Ed Darien is standing by. Shall we go ahead and let Ed Darien do the official introductions? Oh, I see. So we can't see Ed Darien yet because of the lighting. Commission says the fight can go on with this lighting. So let's throw to Ed Darien right now. Ring announcer Ed Darien for the pre-fight intros.
We are live from the Convention Center here in Atlantic City, New Jersey, as Spencer Promotions, Frank Gell Promotions, and Cedric Kushner Promotions, in association with Budweiser, the King of Beers, and the Casino Association of New Jersey, are presenting this evening's big main event, and is approved by the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board, the Honorable Larry Hazard, Senior Commissioner, the Honorable Jerry Gormley, Chairman, members of the board, Gary Shaw and Al Daniels, Sr. Our Deputy Commissioner is Lawrence Wallace. The Chief Boxing Inspector is Sylvester Kyler. The Chief Physician in attendance at ringside is Dr. Frank B. Doggett, along with his fine colleagues, Dr. Eric Wormser and Dr. Dominic F. Coletta, Jr. Our judges, Joe Pasquale, John Stewart, and Gene Williams. The timekeeper to bell is Earl Curry. Counting for the knockdown seconds, alternate referee Tony Perez. In the ring at this time, the man in charge of the scheduled 10-round heavyweight bout, referee Arthur Mercanti, Sr. And now, my good friends, introducing the principals. First, in the blue corner, wearing the blue trunks with the gold and white trim. He tipped in at 224 1/4 pounds. Now, this young pugilist is undefeated in 14 pro bouts with 3 knockouts. He is the current USBA heavyweight champion and is ranked number 7 by the IBF and number 8 by the WBA. All the way from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome aboard Buster Mathis, Jr. Mathis. And his opponent in the red corner, wearing the white trunks with the black and red trim. He weighed in at an even 247 pounds. Now, this big guy has 34 wins, only 1 loss, with 29 knockouts. Now get this. He is the former 1988 Olympic silver medalist, the former IBF and WBA heavyweight champion of the world, is ranked number 4 by the IBF and the USBA. From Brooklyn, New York, ladies and gentlemen, here is Riddick, Big Daddy Bowe. Bowe.
Good evening, Riddick and Buster. You both know the rules of the Jersey State Athletic Commission. Shake hands now. Come out boxing at the bell. Good luck.
That voice of Arthur McCanty was heard 26 years ago in the first event at this current Madison Square Garden.
Thank you,
between
John.
Joe Frazier and Buster Mathis Sr. for the heavyweight championship of New York, because Muhammad Ali was then in exile from his championship.
And can you believe, Larry, Mercanti is 75 years old.
He had that fight scored 5 rounds apiece when it ended in the 11th round with a knockout by Joe Frazier.
Bowe begins with the jab. Buster Mathis looking and waiting for the moment. Riddick in no hurry to get things started. Buster claimed that he would stay away from the jab via 2 separate strategies. Number 1, stay outside of it. Number 2, duck and slip inside of it. Sooner or later, as you point out, Gil Clancy, if he's going to do anything effective, he'll have to get inside where Bowe may be at his best.
Well, you know, that is Mathis' style. He's not fighting a usual Buster Mathis fight. He's trying to fight on the outside. Usually in fights, he moves in behind a left jab and then tries to pump quick combinations on the inside.
Right hand over the top as Mercanti calls for a break. Most effective punch so far for Buster Mathis Jr. Bowe has thrown a few jabs and otherwise is taking a good look.
And Mathis said he knows that he's smaller than Bowe, and he's going to try to take advantage and make himself even smaller to be less of a target. But right now he's standing straight up.
Bowe just misses with the right hand. Clocks Mathis with a couple of rights. Buster showing no ill effects so far.
There's that stiff jab of Riddick Bowe.
And that jab seemed to throw Buster for a little bit more of a loop than he expected. Now Mathis comes in behind a right to the body, takes a right to the body, and slaps Bowe on the head. Bowe landing that jab with effect now, Gil.
And again, he's shooting that right hand over Mathis's head. It'd be better off if he started driving that straight right hand to the body and throw a left hook behind it.
Buster said he liked the prospect of going against a man who would have to punch down at him. A lot of fighters wouldn't think that was a very attractive set of circumstances. Good uppercut by Bowe. Mathis wobbled just a little bit. Buster doesn't look too steady on his feet, Gil.
He doesn't look too confident is the main thing, Jim.
A patient Bowe using his technique. Half a minute to go to the end of the round. Riddick obviously does not think that Buster can hurt him as he steps in. He just keeps looking for opportunities to throw punches. Doesn't have his hands up, just ready to throw.
Well, he may not hurt him, but it's possible to cut him.
And I thought Mathis landed more effective punches in that round.
Doing with the big right hand. Okay, come down. Yeah. Keep the pressure on. Hey. When you get him in the corner or in the rope, he won't need pain. And when he drives the...
You were tight as a drum. He hit you with 2 right hands. You saw them both coming. You got underneath them. Right? Showtime now, buddy. You threw 1 3-punch combination, didn't you? And it worked. You're way too fast for this guy, buddy. You're way too fast. Okay. So now I want to go to work. All right? I want some noise out of you.
All right.
saw that by punch-stat numbers, Bowe landed 25 blows in the first round. 16 of them were jabs.
Buster Mathis fought an in-and-out fight. Not his typical fight in that first round, Gil.
No, usually he crowds you, tries to get off those quick hands of his. But this time he's fighting on the outside.
Well, it would appear that he agrees with you, Gil, that going inside against Bowe is likely to be a losing proposition.
Well, apparently they've scouted Riddick Bowe pretty well. And, you know, in the fight with Holyfield, every round that Bowe came out jabbing, he would win the round, but then he'd forget to throw the jab and he'd lose the round. It was so obvious. And I spoke to Riddick about that yesterday, and I said, take a look at the tape. I think he should really be using his jab a lot more than he's using it right now. Double it up. Just keep the guy controlled, and then you can feint and hit him with combination.
Right hand landed inside. Mathis takes another right after having thrown a flurry of punches. He catches Bowe with a left and a right hand to the body by Mathis. And now he hugs the big man to stop the action.
Let's have a break.
Bowe had a couple of clear shots there and made them count.
He certainly did. He hurt him with that right uppercut to the body.
Punches. No kiddie punches. Let's go.
And we mentioned Bowe's weight. I think he's carrying a little too much weight right now, Jim. He should be down around 235.
Right hand hurt Mathis. But now Buster comes away from the ropes and begins bobbing and weaving. Another right hand lands. Buster Mathis taking a lot of punishment here in round 2 as he feels Bowe's power.
But again, Bowe should be punching to the body. You can move that head, but you can't move the body. Throwing too many punches over Mathis's head.
Stop holding, Buster!
Right hand over the top by Buster Mathis. He hasn't been as busy as his corner would like for him to be in these first couple rounds. Canty again saying no kidney punching. Gil?
He's being manhandled by Riddick Bowe right at the moment. Bowe's strength is just a little too much for him.
Bowe with brief flurries of punches, then he pauses, perhaps to rest.
Let's have a break.
Perhaps to regain a sense of what it is he wants to do in there. Round 2 coming to a close. Mathis goes to the body and then tries to set one up to the head.
Again, Bowe is trying to hit that elusive head instead of going to the body. It doesn't move.
Buster Mathis Jr. has nothing going for him except survival skills and heart. This fight has already gone longer than a lot of people expected.
You're throwing over the top. But get that right hand straight to the head. Go underneath your right hand.
Okay. His head button and everything pops.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
You got to step around to the right. Step around to the right. Throw your uppercut. Throw your left hook to the body. Step around to the right.
Okay.
Here's Bowe trying to measure Mathis, who's an elusive target here. Bowe still hasn't been able to land a clean punch, but he's landed some punishing punches. You think there's rust in here at work, Gil?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I don't like the idea that Riddick Bowe is not only trying to fight Mathis, he's trying to referee the fight. The one time Mathis hit him a slap on the break, and instead of just going about his business, he made a couple of faces and walked around. You can't fight like a prima donna.
The very bad news for Mathis is that in the first 2 rounds, by punch-stat numbers, he's thrown fewer than half as many punches as Riddick Bowe. His formula for scoring the huge upset here would have been to be the busier fighter.
And you know, between rounds, Arthur McCanty spent about 30 seconds in Buster Mathis's corner. I don't know why. Now is when Bowe should drive that right hand to the body. Anytime Mathis's back touches the ropes, you drive that right hand. You're going to either hit him in the body, or he's going to block the punch and you come back up with a left hook. But Mathis is teasing him by moving that head.
Solid right hand by Bowe as Mathis was coming in.
And now Bowe is pouring with his left hand. He's got to snap that left hand. He's trying to think past his left jab, which he shouldn't do.
He's thinking knockout at this point, which is part of what got him in trouble against Holyfield, as he himself admits.
When you say think past his left jab, do you mean that he's already thinking when he throws that punch what else he's going to do?
That's correct, and he's just pushing the jab. He forgets that when you snap the jab, you set the guy up, and then you can really nail him. But when you start pouring that punch out because you're looking to throw a right hand behind it, it takes something, or it takes a lot away from it.
That jab had a little snap on it. Those are offensive weapons, better than what came before. Now the right to the body and follow up.
All right, break, step back. Don't hit on a break. Step back.
Buster hasn't found a way to get inside without taking punishment.
Again, Buster's moving that head, and Riddick is trying to hit a moving target.
Missed it there, but came back with a couple of body punches. Buster landed a solid right to the face of Riddick Bowe. Bowe momentarily angered, threw a couple in return.
I think that may wake Riddick Bowe up. Up to this point, he was just stalking Buster Mathis with no concern at all.
It looks like he's slapping the side of a truck when he hits him with his best shot.
That's correct. Doesn't move him at all.
All right, break. Stop holding. Second warning.
Again, Bowe is punching, trying to hit a moving target.
And solid left and right inside by Mathis. They don't do any damage in terms of hurting Bowe, but they're score.
Here's that sharp little uppercut of Riddick Bowe. It's really one of his best punches.
Good straight right hand by Bowe. After a couple landed to the body. There's the jab. And the right hand that followed.
Harold Letterman, 3 one-sided rounds, it looks like. How do you have it?
Larry, I got it the only way you can have it. 30-27, 3 rounds to nothing. Riddick Bowe. Yeah, Riddick Bowe's really hitting him with everything. The jab, the hard right hand coming down, the uppercut. Buster Mathis goes into the trenches with him, gets out punched, runs away from him, gets out punched. Buster's a game-gutty guy, moving, giving us a lot of movement, getting in a few punches, but Riddick is just too busy and too big.
What round is this?
Okay.
4 coming up. Okay. You got to get the one.
Here you see Mathis staying under him and just doing the best with what he has. If you rated fights on how is a guy performing according to his ability, Buster Mathis might be winning this, Gil.
He gets 100% of himself every time he goes in there. But again, he just wasn't blessed with a big punch. And that's a very important thing for a heavyweight.
How do you think Bowe is doing up until now? Is he a little tentative? Is he not sharp?
I don't think he's sharp. I really think that he has been a little tentative. He hasn't fought in 9 months. And he just, he's not charged up. Maybe if Mathis hits him with a couple of good punches, it may wake him up a little bit.
Does he need rounds? Is having rounds good for him?
Well, yes, I would have to say so. The more rounds he gets in this fight. But again, he keeps punching down with that right hand and keeps missing. I don't know why he just doesn't keep bombing to the body with that right hand. Then he'll be able to hit him on the chin with no problem at all.
He landed an uppercut about 20 seconds ago that lifted Buster's left foot off the canvas. Now Bowe landing inside, but this time Buster elects to keep hanging in there. Keeps the shoulder against Bowe, keeps throwing, lands a left to the head.
And again, their heads are clashing now, and that's, again, one of the hopes that Buster Mathis has to get lucky and bust Riddick Bowe up.
And Buster is making a concerted effort here in round 4 to stay inside. Now, this is the fight plan by which he might hope to succeed. Because of hustling and work like that. And that took a hard right hand, but landed one first.
You know, it's a funny thing, Jim. Most guys that can't punch can really take a good punch. It's usually the big punches that when they get nailed with a solid shot, they go. And Mathis is no puncher, but apparently he can really take a punch.
Little blood trickling out of the mouth of Buster Mathis Jr. right now. More than halfway into round 4.
And, you know, Riddick Bowe is not bending his knees inside. Now he hurt Mathis
quick right hand, and Buster is flat-footed at the moment, ducking and slipping.
Bowe has missed 7 straight big shots. And then he knocked him down while he was down. And he could get penalized for that if the referee won. He was on one knee.
The fight could be over. Mercanti is stopping the fight. Now it remains to be seen what decision Mercanti's going to make here. Mathis had a knee on the canvas.
And Mercanti is warning Riddick Bowe. Is this fight in Mercanti's hands, Harold Letterman?
That was very bad. If Buster Mathis can continue, there's no question. It's up to McCanty.
No question that he did hit him when he was down. His knee was obviously on the canvas. Must have been on the canvas 2 or 3 seconds before Riddick Bowe finally landed that final punch.
Now, Larry Hazard is meeting with Arthur McCanty. They're talking it over. This may be a disqualification win for Buster Mathis Jr.
The fight is definitely over. There will be no resumption of the action.
I stopped the fight because I could see that he was not able to continue, and it's considered a KO. That's all. It's a KO. Now, what you want to do is up to you as far as fine. I think
We'll deal with that. We'll deal with that part. Okay?
Yeah, we'll call it a...
You're hearing Larry Hazard talking to the referee, Arthur McCanty.
I'll tell you what I would do.
McCanty is saying he stopped the fight because of KO, and the rest is up to Hazard. So now it's what is Hazard rule?
And I didn't count. He's knocked out. But he has to be reprimanded for what he did.
But he knocked him out after the foul. So here's what we're saying. Why don't we... Yeah, but the point is...
He hit him after the bell.
We have to determine, do we feel that it was... I didn't think it was intentional. No. I didn't think it was...
He was in the stream. He was in the stream. He was in the mood.
Unintentional.
Yeah, he was in the stream.
But he was down. It was unintentional, but he was down. So, we will go to the scorecards like it was a regular foul. Okay? You know, we would go to the scorecards like it was a headbutt because it was an unintentional foul. He can't continue.
It's only the 3rd round.
Okay, so then it's a...
They can hear me here on my mic. You better cut this one off.
Cut our mic. Cut the mic.
Yeah, cut it off.
You're hearing Larry Hazard saying that this fight is a technical draw.
Well, he hadn't said it yet, Larry. He's considering the possibility, but he has not said that yet.
We'll talk to all of these principals as soon as they make a decision.
Riddick Bowe waiting, as you see. Discussion continues at the ring.
It's not okay.
Larry Merchant turns over 3 glasses of water while stepping up from our table into the ring.
Yeah, but I have a waterproof suit, Jim, so it's okay.
It's the best waterproof tux on the market, isn't it, Gil?
It certainly is. I figured I'd be working in the rain someday.
They managed to get away from our effects microphone far enough that we can't hear the details of the conversation anymore. But we'll be talking to all 3 of the principals in this affair, including Mercanti, and I presume Larry Hazard once all of this has been settled. There's Buster Mathis Jr., and your mind goes to Buster Mathis Sr. sitting at home in Wyoming, Michigan, a man somewhat debilitated by a heart attack and a series of strokes, and I wonder how his heart is handling this one, Gil.
Boy, this is really a tough one. You know, I'd like to see a replay of Buster Mathis on his knee and see how long before Bowe landed that punch.
Well, we'll certainly see that. A further observation, Harold Letterman.
All right. Wait a minute.
He was getting up. Harold, I don't think you're open. All right? Larry's standing by right now with Larry Hazard.
Larry Hazard, give us your ruling, please. And you hear the crowd giving its verdict. Everybody saw clearly that Riddick Bowe hit Buster Mathis Jr. when he was down.
3 rounds in the fourth round.
Larry Hazard now describing his interpretation to Bowe's manager, Rock Newman. Here's the replay, Gil.
And you can see Bowe trying to work on the inside. And Mathis just goes down to 1 knee. I mean, he really wasn't hit. He just decided to take a timeout. And that's when Riddick Bowe nailed him. But it was long after he was down on 1 knee.
Another look at the damage being done by Bowe. Mathis voluntarily, it seemed, going to one knee as if he wanted to take an 8 count to clear his head, and then Bowe landing the blow that put him on his back. Now, it seemed apparent from the conversation we overheard previously that Arthur Mercanti's interpretation of this was that he was going to stop the fight because of Mathis's inability to fire back against Bowe, and he regarded the foul as a post-decision affair. Larry Hazzard does not seem to feel the same way.
Down, and that wasn't right. And I went to the corner and I told him so.
It's a no contest.
It's no contest. It's no contest. I kind of think we saw the whole thing. He's fined him about $5,000 or $10,000.
We'll do about the fine. That's but it's no contest.
It was an intentional foul, and he was knocked out on an intentional foul.
Okay.
Since we can no longer hear the discussion while we're looking at this, if I can get the truck to open you, Harold, let's get Harold Letterman's microphone open, and very quickly, Harold, your further interpretation.
Jim, I'm under the impression that in Jersey you go to the scorecards on a foul if the 5 rounds have been completed. Before that, it's a technical draw. So therefore, they can't go to the scorecards. If Hazzard says that Mathis got knocked out by a foul, they can't go to the scorecards. They've got to declare it a technical draw, or Riddick Bowe loses on a disqualification.
That is indeed the way the rule is written. And you see manager Brian Lee trying to explain to Buster Mathis Jr. what's going on. All right, let's take a look at the knockdown in regular speed and the events that surrounded it very quickly.
You can see Bowe landing some fairly solid punches. And then Mathis was down on his knee. He was down at least 2-3 seconds, Jim, before. And Riddick Bowe just looked at him down on his knee and nailed him.
I disagree. I don't think that's 2 or 3 seconds. I think that's maybe a second or a second and a half. I'll also say that, in my own personal opinion, if Mercanti says he was going to stop the bout prior to that last punch because of the damage that was being done there, that would be seen as an enormously premature stoppage.
I would have to say so, because most of the punches that Bowe was throwing were missing.
All right, let's go to ring announcer Ed Darian for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Convention Center here in Atlantic City, New Jersey, an intentional foul sustained to Principal Buster Mathis Jr. Therefore, the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board declares this bout a no contest. A no contest at 2 minutes and 11 seconds of the 4th round. No contest.
Well, it becomes the second no contest of Buster Mathis Jr.'s career. At least a minor disappointment for Riddick Bowe, who does not get the expected knockout victory. Buster Mathis holding his arms up in triumph, as if to say that he proved something by lasting long enough to get a no contest. And now let's go to Larry Merchant with the chairman of the New Jersey State Athletic Commission, Larry Hazzard.
All right. Larry, you spoke to all of the principals, including referee Arthur Mercanti. Tell us why you made the decision you did.
Well, the referee ruled that this was an intentional. It was an intentional foul. We ruled that it was a no contest because it's obvious that Buster Mathis, it wouldn't be fair to even allow him to continue. He was hit while he was in the process of down or going down. And the referee has made his decision that it was an intentional foul.
Arthur Mercanti, would you step in here, please?
Yeah.
You've been involved in a couple of Buster Mathis fights in your career. Explain to us what we saw, what you saw, because we thought you said earlier when you were speaking to Larry Hazzard that you thought it was just the conclusion of a knockout and it was unintentional. Was it intentional or unintentional?
Was delivered by Bowe, and he went down. On the way down, Bowe hit him a shot, which I declare intentional, because he didn't have to throw that last blow. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you very much, Arthur. And we'll get to Riddick Bowe in a moment. Here is Riddick Bowe. All right, Riddick, your version of what happened on the knockdown and knockout.
Well, I mean, he was bending somewhat low, so when he went down, you know, I really couldn't tell. I didn't know what he was doing. So I seen the opening and I took it. If you look at the tape, you'll notice previous how low he was bending. So I really couldn't tell. And, you know, I tried to apologize, but then look, the damage already done.
So you're saying that because he had been bending low through much of the fight, that you didn't know that he was on one knee when you delivered the last blow?
Very much so. And he stated that, you know, it's to his advantage to bend so low because he's so short. You know, I was using the jab, and he started the bottom even he went low, and I hit him. I apologize for that, but I really couldn't tell.
Let's take a look at the replay, and you describe what you see. Was he
at this particular point, he's in trouble. He's gasping for air, and I really couldn't tell what he was doing. See, right there, I thought he was bending low as he had done, you know, prior to that, and I just hit him with a good right hand.
All right, there it is again. Take a look. Was he a more difficult target than you thought he would be, or was it just
Actually,
a little rush?
It was more easier to hit him. Also, you know, being a little rusty, but I felt like I had to fight well in hand, and it was just a matter of time before he got knocked out.
All right. From that tape, though, it did look like he went down in a delayed manner from an earlier punch, was down on the knee, but your explanation in the heat of a fight does make some sense. So now let's ask you, are you disappointed by this? Are you crushed by this? Do you think it's going to ruin your prospective fight with Lennox Lewis?
No, not at all, not at all. I wanted to beat him convincingly and to knock him out. Perhaps maybe that's why I was over anxious or whatever the case may be, but if he wants a rematch prior to the Lewis fight, I wouldn't mind giving it to him because I know that I'm the best heavyweight out there.
But this has to be something of a frustrating moment for you. You come back after 9 months. You want to look your best. How do you feel you looked up until that point, and to come to this sudden, unexpected conclusion?
Well, to be quite honest with you, I was somewhat nervous, but after, you know, boxing a couple of rounds, I was starting to come into my own. And, you know, unfortunately, you know, these things happen. So, you know, I just have to move on and be bigger and better because of it.
All right, thank you very much, Riddick, and let's go back to Jim at the ringside.
All right, thanks, Larry. There's an engaging piece of honesty. Riddick says he was nervous coming back into the ring. That's as straightforward a comment as I think you might hear from a boxer in this situation.
Well, I guess that's what a 9-month layoff can do to you, Jim, you know.
All right.
Go ahead.
What about the verdict, the no contest decision?
That means the fight never happened, right? No contest?
That's right. Was it the right decision by Hazard and Mercanti?
It was really a tough decision to make. I know years ago I had a heavyweight fighter, and he was going to fight over in England, and he had been a sparring partner. I says, now tonight, when you go over there to England, don't fight like a sparring partner. If you get this guy hurt, finish him off. First round, he had the guy on the deck, and he hit him on the deck. They disqualified him immediately, my fighter.
So you are indeed the proper expert to be discussing this right now. What, if anything, does this do to Bowe's career?
Well, I really don't think it does too much. I mean, it's not good for boxing. Let's put it that way. But Bowe, it was just a matter of time. He was controlling Mathis in the fight. He was hurting him. It wouldn't have gone much further anyhow. And it was just a terrible thing for Riddick Bowe to do.
All right, let's find out more about what went on in the ring as we go back up to Larry Merchant.
Buster, what is your recollection of what happened?
Well, he hit me a good shot. I forgot. But, you know, I know they hit me low because I fell on one knee. I thought you were going to punch. I thought you were going to take my ache out and just clear my head again. You know, that was main for.
All right, let's go back. It seemed that you went down in a delayed way. Was that a deliberately going down on your knee to catch your breath?
Well, you know, no, I was trying to figure out my game plan. You know, Bowe was hitting me with good shots. So I started to get out, take an 8 count, and just relax. You know, I wasn't relaxed. I was.
Now describe what you see.
All right. You hit me with right hand. That's good. I just want to go on one knee. Just relax. Pump. Good shot. Just right here.
So you went down.
Look, but see, now rewind that. Rewind that. Hey, rewind. Can you rewind that? Hey, I'll show you what happened.
Buster Mathis is now playing producer and director for us. He wants to see that.
But when I went...
All right, we will try it again, and we will rewind and show it again.
Okay. And I went down. Now you count to 10. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5, and, you hit me.
Well, Buster. All right.
I was counting slow, too,
All right, Buster. Do you think you should have a rematch? What do you think should come out of this?
A rematch, title shot, more big fights. I want it all, you know what I'm saying?
Well, some people would say, since he was controlling the fight, although you were doing as well as you possibly could, that in a sense that's a lucky break for you because you got a no decision against the former heavyweight champion of the world. Many people regard him as the best heavyweight out there. And now you'll be a more marketable commodity because he got a little over-anxious.
Well, I don't know about that, if I'm a commodity or not. You know, I just try to fight. You know, I try to make the best what God had gave me. That's all a man can do. And, you know, Brian Lee and, you know, Cedric Kushner's production is #1. You remember that, all right? Not Rock Newman, but Cedric Kushner.
We'll do the commercials later.
All right, but, you know, I'm ready. You know, I'm just ready when it comes, you know. I'm still young. I'm not done talking yet.
Well, all right, but I want to ask you, what do you think your dad is saying and thinking out there in Michigan right now as you speak?
Can you bleep this out? Can you bleep some of this stuff out?
No, we can't, but this is HBO and cable.
Yeah, you know, my dad's upset, you know. That's a lot of stuff. I made a mistake, you know. I was tense. I was a little nervous, you know. I find Riddick Bowe, ex-heavyweight champion, you know. I just took the 8 count, going one knee, just clear my head, you know. No, nothing serious. You didn't hurt me or nothing. And I think I did the right thing and going down on one knee. And I talked to my friend Brian, you know, to say if that happens, just take your time. But, you know, Riddick Bowe, you know, hit me with a good, when I was down. And
okay, we've been over this. We don't want to get to be a broken record. We appreciate the effort you gave tonight. And for
how you doing, Dad? How you doing, Mom? How you doing, Tony? How you doing, Keisha Jackson?
How you doing, Jim? Right ringside.
I'm on live.
Well, obviously, it was his intention to take an 8 count and try to clear his head, and that's why he went down to one knee.
Oh, there's no question about it. He purposely went down on one knee. Maybe that made Riddick angry. I mean, it was really, there was time for Riddick to think before he threw that punch.
All right, here's the specific question which must be asked, Gil. We've talked about the potential for the Lennox Lewis versus Riddick Bowe WBC World Championship fight. Now, the World Boxing Council is the one which provides the belt that Bowe tossed into a garbage can in December of 1992 when he relinquished that title, rather than to fight their mandatory against Lennox Lewis at the time. That's what made Lennox Lewis heavyweight champion. Because they want to fight now, Rock Newman, Bowe's manager, has a meeting sometime within the next couple of weeks with the chairman of the WBC, Jose Suleiman, in Mexico City, at which Rock and Riddick are hoping to gain Jose's approval and sanction for that bout. Is there any chance, in your view, that Suleiman will use this, the no contest, the illegal punch, as grounds for refusing to sanction Bowe's challenge against Lewis?
Well, this does give him a little something to lean on, but I really think that the WBC will sanction the fight for the good of boxing.
All right. Thanks very much for being with us. We enjoyed it.
My pleasure.
Wait to see when the next time is. Meanwhile, we've been rejoined at ringside now by Larry Merchant. A curious evening. Grist for your mill.
What are your thoughts? Of them?
Yeah.
Well, I came here thinking, why aren't I at Woodstock? You know, and where is Joe?
And I was wondering why you weren't at Woodstock, too.
and where is Joe Cocker when we really need him? But the fates of boxing, the theater of the unexpected, always show up when we least expect it. And tonight it did. I thought Buster Mathis did well to get as far as he did. And it shows that if you hang in there, anything can happen. And now suddenly Buster Mathis is still undefeated. I don't think this does any serious damage to Riddick Bowe. I think he will fight Lennox Lewis. And so it goes.
A lot of weird things happen in this room. You remember when Tomas Malinares knocked out Marlon Starling with a punch clearly after the bell? It was right here in this ring.
That's right. But he, unlike tonight, won the championship on that blow. So Larry Hazard had some experience to go back to school on. I must say I want to congratulate our technical people, our sound people, for getting our mics in there and listening to them discuss that.
Enough of this puffery. They do a spectacular job on every fight.
No, but this was most unusual. I have never heard anything like that after a fight. I don't know if Gil has. And it seemed that Arthur McCanty might have changed his story a little bit from the emotion of his immediate decision, and that after some thought he gave to it, that he came to the conclusion, there's no such thing as an unintentional foul. It was a foul, and whether he meant it or not, it certainly hurt the other guy.
Ultimately, by a circuitous route, it would appear that they reached the proper decision.
And that's the important thing, and all is just